This next topic is going to be incredibly helpful for you because it's a topic that most people don't pay any attention to whatsoever. And the fortune is in the follow-up. Following up. You've created an exposure of some sort. Somebody was reviewing something, attended something, looked at something, and now you need to follow up. Follow up is simply doing what you said you'd do. You're going to go from exposure to exposure to exposure to exposure. That's your business, going from exposure to exposure, understanding that it will take an average of 4 to 6 exposures for a prospect to make a decision. On average, 4 to 6. For everyone that takes 1 exposure, that means you're going to have some that take 12, 15 exposures. Some of the most powerful people in network marketing, they didn't join until they had 50 exposures. Took years before they finally pulled the trigger. That's the way it is. 4 to 6 exposures. What professionals learn to do is condense those exposures for better results. So instead of 1 exposure a week, they'll have somebody watch a DVD and then get on a 3-way call later that day and sample the product, and that night they get on a conference call, and the next day they check out the website, and after that they read the magazine, then they come to a little in-home meeting and they join. Whatever it happens to be, some little combination of those things. If we did a little survey in this room and you asked you what was your first exposure, second exposure, third exposure, every single one would be a slightly different path. Some of you were so ready. The worst thing that can happen to you, here's the worst thing that can happen to you in Las Vegas. You go to the table and you win the first time you come here. Worst thing that could happen, because now you're thinking you're going to win every time, right? So same thing's true in prospect. You go to that first person, you do 1 exposure, boom, they join. Or you joined after 1 exposure, so now you're expecting everybody else to do the same thing. And now when they don't, you're perpetually disappointed. What is the deal? Why don't they join? I don't understand. When you're following up, let me tell you what to do after we've done exposure number 1. We did exposure number 1. We talked about that before. We did the 8 steps, invitation to review a tool, okay? Or whatever it is we asked them to do. Take some action. Follow-up is you've set it up before you finish the first exposure. You set up when you're going to do it. You set up how you're going to do it, right? You got the phone number. You got the time. You got the day. They have their assignment that they created for themselves, and now you're going to call. So you call, and you're going to say, what? Did you review the material? Did you watch the DVD? Did you listen to the CD? Did you read the magazine? Did you check out the link? Did you listen to the conference call? Did you do what we talked about? You're going to get one of 2 answers. If you do the 8-step process, the answers are going to be yes most of the time. But sometimes it's going to be no, right? And if you have terrible skills, it'll be no more than yes. So, it's okay. We're going to get better and better and better. What some people do is they get irritated with their prospect. You said you'd watch that thing. For sure. The heck, man? I can only work with people that I can respect, and if you don't do what you said you're going to do, I don't know if I can respect you. They don't say that, but that's the tone sometimes. Get irritated. Come on, you said you're going to do it. Now I'm calling you and wasting my time. Best way to respond is no problem. No problem. I understand life gets in the way. When do you think you could see it? For sure, for sure. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. Do I say 2 for sures? I do. When do you think you can see it for sure? For sure. They laugh. And they'll give you another time. They say, oh, I wanted to, but life got in the way, and the kids had this thing, and somebody got sick, and I had overtime at work, and I really meant to, but I put it in the car, and I forgot it was in the car. Gosh, I'm sorry. Oh, no problem. Don't worry about it. When do you think you can see it for sure? For sure. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, maybe, I don't know, just, get back to me. They're vague. Here's what you do when they're vague. Listen, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Just give me a time that you will have for sure seen it, and I don't care what that day is. Whatever that works for you. Yeah, I'm still, listen. Let's just be pros here. Which way you want to, either you're going to see it or you're not. If you're not going to see it, just say no, and then we can be done. No problem. So when do you think you see it for sure? For sure. They give you another date. So if I called you after that, you'll see it for sure, right? Yep. Same phone number? What time? All right, I got to go. Bye. You reset the appointment and you're done. Keep moving. Okay? If they say yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about questions and objections, because this is where questions and objections tend to show up. They'll show up in lots of different parts of the presentation, questions and objections, but they tend to show up here. You ask somebody, did it make sense? What'd you like best? And they're like, and then the objection starts to show up. If you have a history that maybe isn't as stellar as you'd hope it would be, and some of the people that you're contacting know that, your objections will show up a little earlier. Objections are natural, first of all. Prospects want to sound smart. The reason they bring them up is they want to sound intelligent. It has very little to do with the actual concern. They just finished eating McDonald's, but they'll ask you, what are the ingredients in this product? They'll want to know. Do they really care? No, they're just, I need to say something to sound smart. Now, you can react either defensively or offensively, and both are wrong. If you act defensive, hey, these have been tested by everybody, and that'll throw up red flags and it'll give them some cause for concern. If you act offensively and you come charging right back at them, that'll be a problem too. Some people have these fancy little approaches. Is this one of those pyramid things? Oh, you mean pyramid? Like every corporation in the world? Is that what you mean? Is this a Ponzi scheme? Oh, you mean like the U.S. government? That kind of Ponzi scheme? Because they heard that in some seminar, it sounded really cool. So they decide that they're going to be offensive and just, Person says, I'm not sure if I have the time. Oh, stop it. Are you watching television? Are you listening to the radio? You have all kinds of time. Show me your calendar. Knock it off. You think I'm joking. Some of you you're so filled up with your ambition that you can't help yourself. Because you've convinced yourself, everybody has time. You can't wait for the opportunity to pounce on them. So offensive is just as bad as defensive. What you need to do is act as a consultant. You're going to ask some questions. You're going to guide them. What would a consultant do if you were not going to be their upline? Okay? If they were going to join another company and they were asking some questions, how would you respond? You'd say, well, don't do it, he says. Don't do it. Come with my company. No, how would you respond? You'd say, well, what are you looking for? Are you passionate about this? How could this help you? Is this really an objection for you? Really? Is it something that you think you can get past? How could you do it? Act as a consultant to help a person get a result. That's what the professionals do. Consultants aren't acting defensively because they're trying to help somebody get a result. they're not acting offensively because they're trying to help somebody get a result. That's it. The goal is education and understanding. That's the goal. It's not about getting them. So when the question, the objection comes up, just remember your goal. The goal is education and understanding. The best approach in all of these cases, and you're going to find all objections fall into just two categories. Two. Not 200, two. As far as I know. Maybe there's more, but I think there's two. The best approach is to relate to them. When you say to somebody, listen, I know, I understand, I felt it, I can totally understand that, that makes sense, that sounds smart, I looked at that too, I evaluated that too, let me tell you what I learned, let me tell you what I learned from other people, let me tell you what I heard, let me tell you what I experienced. Relating to them, letting them know that they're not crazy, that they're smart, that they're intelligent, that asking questions is a good part to be a good way to understand something and fully get your arms around it. Some of you get so frazzled with the objection that you stop relating to people. And you start either being defensive or offensive. Understand? Got it? All right, let's talk about the two categories. Category number one. The prospect has limiting belief in their abilities. They don't think they could do it. They don't think they know anybody. They don't think they have the money. They don't think they have the time. They don't think something about themselves. They have a limiting belief in their own abilities to be successful. Category number one. Category number two, they have a limiting belief in network marketing. I don't think there's another category. There may be, but I don't think so. Give me an objection. Distrust? Limiting belief in network marketing. Give me another objection. It's a scam, network marketing. Don't have the money, number one. I got to talk to my wife, number one. Sorry? To believe in other people. Don't believe they can help get other people to do something, number one. Yep. Don't believe in you, that really is tied to network marketing. It's not for them, number one. Not a salesperson, number one. Don't miss business and friendship, number two. Huh? Can't find people, number one. You get that? I love network marketing, but your company is undercapitalized. I've never gotten that one, but maybe you do. But that's going to be about network marketing again, right? What's the basis of that question is, I'm afraid the company's not going to be around, so I'm afraid that network marketing companies disappear. Right? Number two. Anybody think of any others that don't fit? Yeah. I don't want to make money off other people. Number two, limiting belief about network marketing. Yeah. I'm satisfied in my current position. Number one. For sure. I mean, well, maybe both. Satisfied in my current position isn't a real objection, really. There's nobody that's completely satisfied. They're just throwing that out there to say, okay, what can I say? So they'll say, okay. Yes? Market saturated, number two. Don't have time, number one. It's a scam, number two. Only people at the top make money, number two. My family, what? My family disowned me, number two. Or number one, too, also. I don't need the money, baloney. All right, we got it, right? We got it. There's more objections, but There's only two categories. So you either have to help them with their limiting beliefs about their abilities or their limiting beliefs about network marketing. And in both cases, you're going to be asking some questions. You're going to be responding in a way with a goal of education and understanding, not about being smart, being right, sounding intelligent, being a big shot. You're acting as a consultant. That's what you do. It was interesting to me, and I'd never really gotten it down to these two categories till I wrote the book. I went, there's only two. Really? And maybe a third will pop up at some point, but at this point, I think there's only two. They have different faces. They appear to be different, but they're really not. So let's talk about number one. I don't have the money. Best way I know is tell a story and ask a question. Tell a story, ask a question. Tell a story, ask a question. Tell a story, ask a question. To all of these, tell a story, ask a question. Okay? Adriana says, I just don't have the money right now. Look, Adriana, I understand. I get it. I didn't have, at the end of the month, I had too much month at the end of the money, no matter how much you're making. It's a struggle to pay the bills nowadays and, take care of everybody that needs taken care of and taking care of responsibilities, doing all that stuff. And when I looked at this, for me, I didn't know if it was responsible for me to scrape up another $500 or $1,000 in order to be able to start a business. But let me tell you what I realized, Adriana. I realized looking at my life, if I didn't change, nothing was going to change. If I didn't do something different, I was going to look at the next 5 years just like I looked at the last 5 years. My life was going by, and I needed to do something in order to be able to create a better future for my family. So you know what I did? I found a way. I realized that it wasn't really about the money. It was about my belief in, do I want a bigger future for my family or don't I? And I decided I wanted a bigger future for my family. So let me ask you a question for you. If you looked at this really, you looked at your options, and you came to the conclusion that if things didn't change, something didn't change, then your life wasn't going to change, and you really wanted change. If you decided that was important enough, could you find the money? Yeah, I'm sure I could. Sure. Tell a story, ask a question. Tell a story, ask a question. Now, if that story doesn't line up congruently with your actual experience, say, let me tell you a story about a good friend of mine. Here's what they told me. They told me what I just said. And here's the question that they asked in their mind. And if you asked yourself that same question, what conclusion would you come to? I'm not acting defensive. I'm not acting offensive. I'm acting as a consultant. I'm telling them a story to help paint a picture in their mind of where they could go if they eliminate their limiting beliefs and open up their mind to a better future for themselves. You could even, because what's the limiting belief if I don't have the money? I'm not sure if I can do this. You could put that into your story. What I really realized is I wasn't sure if I could do this. Because if I was sure I could do this, I could find the money. So I did a little bit of homework, and I asked some questions, and I talked to some other people, and I realized, you know what? I can do this, and I can. And so can you. And we can do it together. See what I mean? Go next. I don't have the time. Do you know where I'm going to go with this? Story, question. Story, question. I know exactly how you feel. You know what? I've been so stressed out and frazzled in my life and in my business. I looked at this and I looked at that and story. And the bottom line was I realized that if I didn't make the time, I was never going to have the time. I had to invest to get it back. So let me ask you a question. If you want to be able to get some more time, do you think that maybe something needs to change in order to be able to make that happen? The answer is yes, then, we can find the time, can't we? I realized I could build this business in 15-minute increments. I could build this business in 15-minute blocks. I could take 10 hours a day, and that was 40 different 15-minute blocks over the course of a week, and I could create a future. That's what I realized. I didn't have 2 hours anywhere in my life, but I had 15 minutes all over the place. I'm not a salesperson. I'm just not that kind of person. I get it. Me neither. Story, question. I don't know anybody. Story, question. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't have any experience. Story, question. Practice that. Story, question, story, question, story, question. Avoid making people feel stupid in this process. You have that objection? Are you dumb or something? Relate to the person. Tell your story. Limiting belief in network marketing, and tell other people's stories. Is this MLM? Is this one of those things? Is this a pyramid? Is it legal? I'm not interested in MLM. I don't want to bother my friends. How much are you making? You ever heard those before? A few times? Why do you hear them? You hear them for one of two reasons. They either have psychic damage, they've had some experience and it's been mentally damaging to them. They bought that lottery ticket, they've been there, they've done it. They still have, the stuff sitting in the kitchen closet. Or they're curious. And you can usually tell by how they ask the question. So, is this one of those, kind of like Amway, direct selling, Herbalife type of things? That's an okay, they're curious. Is this one of I've heard about these. Is this one of those things? Or is this MLM? Different question. Same question, completely different question. So you can tell if they ask with emotion or if they ask without emotion. They're just simply curious. So, let me tell you how we deal with this. This is one of my favorite questions. This one normally strikes fear into the heart of people, doesn't it? Person says, is this network marketing? You go, I got to go here. I got to deal with this. I got to go down this road. What do you mean by network marketing? Is this a pyramid? Oh, you mean like the government? Like every organizational structure on planet Earth? You mean like that? You don't have to go there. Here's where you go with this. If they ask it with curiosity, say, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be involved with anything else. Duh. Yeah. Awesome. Or two, if they ask with emotion. Here's what you do if they ask with emotion. I go to Mike. Hey, Mike. I got something, da-da-da-da-da. Give me the objection. Give me is this MLM objection? Is this network marketing? And you can tell by his face. He's not happy about the idea that it might be. Is this network marketing? So here's how you answer that. You go, whoa, wait. You got a story. What happened? Tell me what happened. I got to hear the story. Was it you? Or was it somebody in your family? It was you? How long ago? 5 years ago. What happened? Did the company go out of business? Did it, what happened? Company went out of business. How'd that feel? Yeah. Did you have a team built when that happened? Yeah, a little bit of team. So you had some skills. Really? Wow. If they hadn't fallen apart, you think you'd still be doing it? Absolutely. Interesting. Interesting. So you took a step back because, kind of an emotional experience when a company went out of business. But companies go out of business in every profession, right? Every profession. Do you think it was network marketing that let you down, or do you think it was that company? The company, huh? So if you became comfortable that a company wasn't going to let you down, do you think you'd ever, once you got that seed of network marketing in you, I just found that, you're going to find another opportunity at some point in your life. You're going to do something. So do you think if you found a company that you believe in, do you think you can get your hopes up one more time? Possibly. Interesting. Interesting. So we have isn't that a fun conversation? It's a fun conversation. How many people have been involved in network marketing before and swore off, never again? Never, ever, ever. This gentleman. What's your name, sir? Yuli. Yep. Hi, Yuli.
Glad to meet you.
How are you?
Great.
So there was a time when you were not happy about network marketing.
That is correct.
Right. How long was that ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. So if I contact you and say, hey, I've got something that I respect you, I don't have a lot of time, but I found something I'm really interested in, and before I can get it out of my mouth, you say, no. What do you say? You ask the question. Is this another network marketing company? I say, wait, Yuli, wait. You have a story. What happened? What happened? What was it you or somebody else that you know that was involved? It was me. It was you? And some other people? And what happened? How long were you involved?
A year.
A year. And did you have a little team built?
No, not really.
Not really? So you were involved for a year, and what was discouraging about it? What didn't you like about it?
Well, it basically came down to me, and it was a combination of both. Myself not being committed.
Yeah? It was a combination of you not being committed. What else?
As well as the corporate had some hanky-panky going on.
Yeah, so the company had some hanky-panky going on. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. That happens. That happens. So one day you just said, you know what? What was the thing that broke the camel's back? Was it you saying, I'm not giving it, or you just losing your belief in the company, so you just said, I can't promote something I don't believe in?
It was a combination of both.
Combination of both.
It wasn't quite ready for that yet.
Wasn't quite ready. Was there something that happened? Was there a day, was there a moment that you just said, okay, it's over? Or did you just fade?
I think I faded.
Faded? Yeah. Happens with a lot of people. Happens with a lot of people. And it's okay to lose the faith. It's
In that particular instance, I wasn't exactly destitute.
You weren't destitute. You had other things you could do. You see over the company. Yeah. So you had other options. You could do other things. So let me ask you, if there was a way that you could see yourself being really committed to it, number one, if you believed in it, and you also believed in the company, that they were going to do things right.
I'm all in.
What do you think? Do you think that you would ever open up your mind to considering it again?
I'm a different person.
I'm a different person now. See, it started with, don't start with me. And this was a real story. And all of you have real stories. Here's what I know about somebody that's been involved in network marketing. They're going to get involved again. For sure. For sure. They might have their feelings hurt for a little while, but then they're going to get over it. Somebody's going to approach them at the right place at the right time, and they're going to say, you know what? I have unfinished business in network marketing. I need to go finish what I started. It's like they were infected with the MLM virus. And they can never quite do a blood transfusion to get it all out of the system. It might be deep down there, maybe way down there. They might have to have some help to see, some timing and positioning, and luck might trigger their imagination. But if they've been in once, they've been bit by the bug, they're coming again. It's so fun. Try to find people who hate MLM. I'm serious. Try to find them. And just to talk about the story. Tell me what happened. What happened to you? What happened to you? Was it you? Was it the company? Do you think it was a lack of effort? I've heard all the stories. Well, my upline, they made me do all this stuff, and they just, I felt like I drank the Kool-Aid and it was too much, and I got uncomfortable, and they were pushing me around and telling me what I should or shouldn't do. So was it network marketing that did that, or do you think it was you got involved with some bad people? I got involved with some bad people. They won't blame network marketing, but at times they'll blame a company that was run irresponsibly. They'll blame hanky-panky, as he said. They'll blame the product that maybe wasn't up to market standards. They'll blame their upline that abused their trust. They'll blame a culture that maybe was an abusive culture or a discriminating culture. They'll blame those things. But then they'll come back and say, it really wasn't network marketing. But when I express a genuine curiosity to their story, they love to tell their story because they don't get to tell it. They love to tell it. So fun. See if you can find somebody that hates this. Yeah? You like it? Cool. So for every one of these questions, and go back. For every one of those questions, the answer is basically the same. Every single one. You have a story, don't you? Was it somebody in your family? Was it you? What was going on? Tell me your story. Tell me what happened. Ask them some questions. Relate to them. I get it. I'd be heartbroken too. Company went out of business. What a disaster. All those people who looked to you for guidance and support. Gosh, I'm sorry that happened. Happens sometimes in business. I'm sorry that happened to you. Do you think it was network marketing or maybe that company? Do you think it was your upline, or do you think it was the profession? Yes.
So if I just said that, no, I don't have a story, man. I'm not interested in multi-level marketing.
I don't buy it. He said, I don't have a story. I'm just not interested. If you might not have a personal story, but you have an opinion, why are you not interested? Because you've heard somebody else, or you've seen somebody else that has done this, and you didn't like the way it looked, or the way they acted, or something happened. You can't have that opinion without some input, some life experience. You just can't. It's like, if you've heard about like a neighbor that did something, they'll tell you that part of the story. It's really fun to do. You take yourself out of prospecting mode and you just say, I'm all ears.